Okay. Are we good? Okay, I think are we good? I think it I think we're doing okay now. I think. Okay. Holy Jesus Christ. Dude, this is such a wild setup. Completely different from Twitch. Okay, I apologize guys. We're about 15 minutes late. I was messing with the settings even before 1 o'clock, trying to get everything okay, and it's still pretty rough. It was hard to get this going, but this is my first stream on here. So yeah. Okay. So I was talking to the camera a little earlier. I thought I was streaming, but I wasn't. So we're live now. We're live. How's it going, guys? So I was explaining to a blank screen of you guys. I thought you guys were listening, but YouTube was a little fucked up. I'm gonna adjust my camera just a little bit. Let's see. So I was going to explain what we're doing here and what I'm kind of doing with YouTube now is, I don't know if a lot of you guys knew, well, most of you guys probably knew, I did stream on Twitch quite a bit. That's our beloved, yeah. I streamed a lot on Twitch, and Twitch was fine. I just thought it would make sense as a YouTuber. I just like to live stream. It's fun. It would make sense to do a live stream on Twitch as to separate the two platforms and kind of maybe expand onto somewhere else. But Twitch is an incredibly corporate streaming platform. Say what you want about YouTube. YouTube is incredibly corporate as well. But they are much more creator friendly, rather. Sorry. Production value is great here. Thank you. Thank you. So I was going to get into this as well, the board. Twitch has a bitrate cap, so it's really pixelated compared to the preview and the stream that you guys are getting here. The stream that you guys are getting here is much higher quality than I would have gotten on Twitch. And the important part about that too is there's transcoding. So for anyone who cannot handle a 1080p stream, which to be fair, that's quite a few people, you can transcode down to 720p, 480p, whatever fits your guys' bill. If you guys want to listen in the background, I had some people on Twitch who would occasionally do that. But the problem is that they would try to listen at like 480p or a 160p. They wouldn't watch, they just listen. And they couldn't do that because it was at 1080p and it was eating up their internet. But you guys can do that now. Isn't Amazon selling Twitch to Disney or some shit too? It wouldn't surprise me, man. I think Twitch is dying. I think Twitch will die. I think YouTube will take over. And for us, it makes the most sense too. It truly does. You know, we have videos on here, and I had a potential way right here through the subscriber board. If anyone subbed on Twitch, you would get put on the board. And you'd had emojis in chat, stuff like that. But here's the thing. You guys didn't get much if you subscribed on Twitch. First thing, Twitch takes 50% of everything. So like you guys donate $5 to like to support, or $6. I think it got up to $6 now. I think it's $6 now. I don't know, which is mind-blowingly dumb. And I couldn't offer you guys anything. So on here, if you guys join as a YouTube member, which you absolutely should, now it helps out a lot. So what you guys can do is you can join as a member. I can give you early access to videos. I can give you guys voting power. So I give you guys all of these perks that I couldn't give you on Twitch. And there's a $10 tier where you get at the end of the credits and stuff like that. I have on YouTube member, it's the exact same thing as Patreon. So if you guys want to support on Patreon, I obviously receive more. That would be extremely helpful. But if you guys enjoy live streams and you guys enjoy being in chat, and you guys want badges, you want all of that stuff, I have the YouTube member thing set up so I can actually give you guys something in return, which is what I want to do. Okay, so I'll read chat. So I'll stop talking and explaining that for a second. There's some user scripts that get around this, but yeah, it's annoying. Rent extraction, we love it, folks. That YouTube rob creators. Yeah, so that's the thing. 30%, man, is still steep. That's steep, man, but it's nothing compared to Twitch's 50%. That's bad, dude. I had someone. I got my Twitch was rated. Some person like donated $300. Like, that's a lot of money. That's like a lot of money to anybody. And they did it. They're like, dude, I really love your channel. I want to help out, stuff like that. I only received $150. One thing that sucks for me too, but like the more important thing, dude, they donated $150 to Twitch, a corporation that is just fucking mind-blowingly insane, like mind-blowingly fucking rich. So it's like that poor person sent $150 fucking dollars to Twitch. Like, oh my, that like blew my mind. I was just like, Jesus Christ. They like, it was weird. Yeah. So at least if this happens now, there's so much more value. There's so much more value. Like, you guys get to vote on videos as a YouTube member. You guys get to receive early access on videos. None of you guys were able to do. You guys couldn't do that on Twitch. Twitch sucks. I hate Twitch. Okay. These corporate companies are wilding out. DoorDash just got punished with a $2 million fine for DoorDash. That's adorable. That is adorable. And there's more of you guys on here. So it's going to be more fun. These streams are going to be a lot more cool, a lot more fruitful. But for a lot of people who don't know, like, we're just talking right here. This is a bit of a boring stream, I suppose, but we're you know, I'm kind of experimenting. I'm trying to figure this out. I'll play games on here. A lot of the times, like on Twitch, I just like playing games. I'm actually a pretty big gamer when I can find the time. And streaming is fun, right? Playing games is much more fun, if you ask me, when you can sort of, you know, experience it with other people, I think. Happy to see your channel grow, man. Thank you, Mark. I really enjoyed your last video. I appreciate that. The last video we did was probably my favorite. It's something and this is something that we can talk about too on stream today. So as someone who's, you know, we're a theory channel, and a kind of a continental philosophy channel, something that I think about all the time that's pretty near and dear to my heart is, you know, like, I consider my politics very much in the vein of Marxism, like, very much. And I care about the future of material politics, but right now it's not looking good. It's really not looking good. When you, there's such a lack of clarity regarding Marxism, especially early Marxism. When we talk about theory and Marxist theory, dude, it's a fucking religion to some people. And when it becomes some weird spiritual entity and a weird, like, the historical matter of Marxism seems to dissipate. And I don't think there is an accurate historical understanding of Marxism in a lot of ways. And I noticed it's just weird. Like, there's so many dialectical movements into Marxism from the Enlightenment that I think there's this really weird reactionary pushback against the actual, like, historical, like, reality of Marxism, that Marx was not, like, Jacobin just did a live stream with Ben Burgess and Matt McManus, which was really good. And Matt McManus talks about this a lot. I know you guys, a lot of you guys are on the Pill Pod. You guys watch the Pill Pod quite a bit. I'd imagine. I love plastic pills. I love the Pill Pod. But Matt talks a lot about how, like, dude, there is this undergrad understanding of Marxism that, like, Marx was completely antithetical to individual rights, to individual freedom. That's not the fucking case at all. I mean, it's the opposite. Like, that's what, like, when you read, not only this, like, I'm right now, I'm reading, I'm rereading Frederick Engels' Socialism, Scientific and Utopian. At the beginning of the fucking book, Engels says the late and Enlightenment French philosophers primed our minds for revolution. But there's this really weird reactionary pushback of like, no, that's liberalism. That's liberalism. That's bullshit. I'm like, dude, do you understand? And I tried to explain in this video that, like, do you not understand the majority of activism, the majority of what I would say, even something like DSA, the majority of the arguments that these activist groups employ are still sort of Enlightenment-centered ideas, especially like I brought up John Locke's idea of property, where your body is your first property, and it's like, dude, there's all kinds of problems with Locke. Don't get me wrong, but I'm trying to explain and add clarity to things that are so important that is so fucking insanely wrong on Twitter. Like, you go on Twitter and it's like it's like Marxism is a very aesthetic religion to so many people, and it's like there's no it fucking sucks. It sucks so bad. It hurts me. It hurts my soul. Okay, so sorry. I was explaining that. We will read some chat more. That's the ubiquity of the machine's propaganda accelerated by bullshit artists is pretty rad lib, to be honest. No, yeah, no. I'm not saying that's the fucking thing. Is like just simply saying like, yeah, the Enlightenment's just rad lib shit. No, it's not. Like, it's really not. Of course, there's so many issues with the Enlightenment. Like, you have, I mean, who is it? The best accounting of the Enlightenment is this: the dialectic of Enlightenment, critical theorist. Yeah, there's all kinds of fucking issues with it. But the idea that the Enlightenment was some just like hegemonic, like almost like bourgeoisie tyrannical thing is so untrue. There were so many movements into the actual material realm from especially late Enlightenment that gets completely ignored, and I fucking hate it. I hate it, not because I'm an Enlightenment liberal, I'm not whatsoever, but because it completely just overcoats and distorts the actual early reality of Marxism, in my opinion, which I think is absolutely necessary to understand. Okay. Activism is rooted in the rights discourse a lot, 150%. So BW's, you're right there. Like, I try to add that in this new video. Our modern day activism, which in many ways is good. There is some issues with not having a very material-based activist base. So like that, I didn't quite bring that up. I was making descriptive claims in that video. Prescriptively, what we should do is we should have a more material class-based politics and an activist movement. There is an organization in my city, Kansas City, called KC Tenants. They do this very well. They do this very, very well, and they're wonderful for it. So yeah, there are tons of limits and idealism and how we approach arguments of abortion rights, stuff like that. But undeniably, abortion rights are centered in Enlightenment ideas. Undeniably, anti-war protests of the past and present with Iraq. They were centered. Sorry, I can't talk. They were centered in a lot of Enlightenment ideas. Ushered in, sort of elaborated on by people like Rousseau. So, yeah. The idea that philosophy is just people who are overthinking things blows a little. Yeah, definitely. Is basically a proto-socialist. Yeah, dude. Adam Smith is. I think this is the thing where there's such clear issues with liberalism, right? Like, undeniably so. But I think when we don't take a critical eye into what we are saying with the Enlightenment, it sucks, man. It distorts stuff, and it's not good. And I see so much of that on Twitter. Again, this wouldn't bother most people, but I'm into theory. I'm into philosophy. And so when I go on fucking Twitter and when I go on like r/communism, it's the most weird. Like, it's a lot of these people complain about revisionism. They're like, oh, this is Marxist revisionism. No, it's not. Oh, sorry, I hit my microphone. It's like, and if anything, like, there's a revisionist. It's very undialectical thinking. So, for example, here's something that's really good and angles that he elaborates on is that there is this he talks about this as something, the metaphysical idea of existence that is singular. We examine objects, right? These objects are things, right? And then, of course, you move into process metaphysics, which process metaphysics are not necessarily dialectical, but a lot of the times you can use dialectics to explain process metaphysics. And what process metaphysics is that you are not a thing, you are a process going through time. And this is what Engels was arguing, that, and he used the example, you are simultaneously the same person, yet you are different at the same time. And he uses scientific explanations for this. He uses the idea that we lose skin cells every second, but we're growing new ones as well. And we have simultaneously skin cells that are in the present. So like there is an essence, there is something of us that we are in the present, we are in the past, we are in the present, and we are in the future simultaneously. And that's a dialectical way of thinking. And when we lose that analytical dialectical thinking, we're reverting back, oddly enough, to the same Lockean idea. So Engels talked about how Locke fucked everything up. And he kind of did. Locke did. But here's the fucking thing. A lot of communists, self-described communists, a lot of Marxists, they think in the same Lockean type of reasoning, the same what Engels called metaphysical reasoning of history, which is just fucking mind-blowingly insane to me. It's wild. It's wild. So that's what my newest video, I was trying to add clarity to that, because I think about this a lot now, guys, and it kind of worries me a ton. I think I'm a Žižekian in the idea that we can't avoid ideology, but we sure as fuck should try to check it as much as we can. And I think there is some moral purity that people get out of being an open Marxist that really kind of hurts my soul. It takes away a lot of the critical analysis that made Marxism so great, and it sucks. Breaks my heart. Okay. Let's see. If you say dialectical one more time. Well, sorry, man. Impermanence of the self. Loved your Heidegger video. Got me really interested in continental philosophy. Learning German now. Awesome. I'm super happy to hear that. Logan Arndt. Engels. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard Engels, Engels. I had professors who pronounced them both ways. I don't know. In your last video about Nietzsche, can we say that the contradiction that you presented is a feature of human beings from a humanist perspective? Yeah, just to be contradictory people. Yeah, sure. But I think, again, the wonderful thing of dialectics is that, like, we can easily recognize these contradictions and we can move from that. And by simply being contradictory, it isn't necessarily a massive problem. It can be if it goes unchecked, I think. But I in so many ways, I'm a Hegelian. But again, I say I'm a Marxist because I think what Marx and Engels did with Hegelian dialectical thinking in the vein of idealism, they moved it to a more material approach, and that's just so invaluable in so many ways. So does YouTube mean no more malding over COD? Absolutely not. I will absolutely mauld over COD. I will be playing video games like always. We're just doing a little... this is an experimental stream for right now. Thoughts on post left. So, I mean, as far as like post left, I'm not sure what that exactly means. Like, I feel like it's such a broad thing. Dialectical materialism for all. Yeah. And again, I think this is where we're getting into. So, for example, guys, we're shitting on Marxist right now as a Marxist. I saw, man, what is it? I saw on Reddit the other day, postmodernist get the wall first. Like, I don't even, oh, no. And the better one, critical theorist get the wall first. What do you, like, how the fuck? Critical theorists get the wall? What? What the fuck? Dude. critical theorists were the most dialectical form of Marxism, if you ask me. I guess the only thing that you can say is that there was a slight rupture in the material approach that Marx took. That Adorno, Horkheimer, and a lot of these people thought, okay, there are some things about capitalism that a pure material approach of Marx and Engels could not appreciate. And that ultimate thing about capitalism that materialism couldn't have exactly fundamentally understood was how well capitalism sells ideas, like the culture industry, how well capitalism creates this weird idealistic approach about shit. So the idea that you're gonna go fucking line these critical theorists up and postmodernists up and you're gonna go fucking shoot them, what the, go fuck yourself. I don't want to be associated with absolutely any of these fucks at all. I hate it. I hate it so much. I know this is probably like 0.5% of all people who even consider themselves Marxists. I just like, holy fuck, they're really loud on the internet. What's up, Victor? Okay, so Victor, I actually messaged you on Discord. I don't know if you saw. Guys, also in chat, I would like to, I'm figuring shit out now. We got it figured out. But I would like, Victor, I would like to have you on here sometime. Obviously, you guys know Victor Bruzzoni from the Pill Pod. He's working on his PhD right now. I would love if you are down for it, Victor, to discuss what you are doing, because I'm kind of interested as well, and I'm not exactly sure on what you were doing. I have some ideas, but okay. We'll hear your thoughts on Hayek and how much of his critiques on economic planning can be applied to modern capitalism. Well, like Hayek, if I'm remembering right, he's like one of the founders of like neoliberalism, right? The new neoliberal movement that started in the 40s or so. Indeed, go back to process metaphysics. I think David Harvey's and of course the basis in Marx analysis of capitalism as a flow works to this advantage. 150%, Bisquick. I got the message. Yeah, I'm down. Hell yeah, that would be cool. Also, what is your diss on, Victor? Yeah. I think Victor's dissertation is on like a understanding of like democratic processes, seeing how like voter habits and stuff. I think that's just the basis. Victor, you're talking about it in Twitch one day. Although if I'm correct, Polanyi, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, is not generally a political philosopher. I actually don't know who that is. I've heard the name, but I don't really know much about them. Oh, yo, thank you. Thank you for becoming a member. Let's see. Does that pop up on my... that should theoretically... Okay, cool. We got the alert. So if you guys become members, I have an alert thing right here. And so theoretically, I think I had text to chat on with members. Like you guys can type something in and it'll pop up on stream and it'll read in a voice. I know with tipping that works, but I appreciate that, Jonathan. I really do. Thank you. Obviously, guys, if you become tier 1, you get to vote on future videos. You get access to all our Patreon videos, all our exclusive videos that we do. You get early access, so helps a ton. Again, that's why I switched from Twitch. I can't offer you those things on Twitch. I can't. So thank you. I appreciate that. I'm impressed. Thank you, my friend. Victoria College. What is that? In one of the videos. Hungarian dude died in 94. Sortition as a democratic alternative. How do I get access to the Patreon videos? So what I did is if you are in the member thing, if you join like I make exclusive member post, you'll see the links for those videos. I think in the member section, again, this is a little bit of a learning process for me. I don't have an immediate like go there. I think, yeah, if you go in the member section of our channel, you'll see posts that are just exclusive to members. I think, yeah. Okay. I think that's, yeah. Does this mean the end of the Twitch streams with all the communist Heideggerians? Absolutely not. Communist Heideggerian communist Heidegger, who is always in Twitch chat, is more than welcome in YouTube chat. More than welcome. Mostly known for evolutionary epistemology, emergence and stuff. Greetings from Germany. Thank you, Leftwinger81. Great channel. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you. Thank you for coming in here and hanging out. Genuinely. And also seriously, guys, like we just hit like we just hit 10,000 subs. Like that's kind of like that's a big fucking deal to me. Like that, like I know that's like small, but guys, I just started this like 8 or 9 months ago, or maybe 10 months ago. So like we're doing really, really good, and I really appreciate it a lot. Like I really do. You know, this is kind of a niche thing, right? It's theory and philosophy, and not like everyone's into theory and philosophy, right? So I can imagine that there's a small amount of people from, you know, that are into this and they consume this kind of content. So I really appreciate it. The idea that like 10,000 of you are interested in this is just fucking awesome. And then more than that, like some of you guys like support me on Patreon, support me on the YouTube member thing. Like this is actually what I do now. So this is like my part-time job while I'm in school. I have next semester, I graduate in the spring. And so, yeah, this is actually how this is how I'm actually surviving as is right now. So like genuinely, like, thank you guys so much. Like seriously. I definitely I have some times where it's very stressful, and then some mornings I'll be working on editing, and I definitely have a lot of like thankful moments. Like I genuinely, guys, I'll just be working on, and I'm very thankful. Like I get very happy. So I don't know. I grew up I was pretty from a blue collar family. My parents were divorced. My mom was super poor, and she went back to college when I was in high school, and holy hell, that was bad. And so I worked all the time as a high schooler, and I had the most, oh my God, the most horrible, alienating jobs you could ever imagine. Like so I worked at a hardware store for a while. And the owner of the hardware store, I wish, oh my God, that dude would be out of business right now and I'd be rich. I'd be so rich. He threw pliers at me. This dude was insane. You're wondering how I became a Marxist. I'll explain this. So this dude was terrible. His grandson worked with him, and he always told me he was really cool dude, really cool, a pretty good guy, I would imagine. But he was like, man, my grandpa has a weird way of explaining these things. This dude was like 75 years old and still worked, right? And he's like, he has a really weird way of explaining things. Don't fuck up. I was like, okay. And I was like 16 years old. I'm like, all right, I won't fuck up. What the fuck? And so, you know, occasionally I guess I would get on his nerves about stuff like normal shit. I asked him a question one time about how to help a certain customer because he was right there and I didn't know how to help him. And this man took me to the back corner of the store and he was like, don't you ever do that again. I was like, what? I was like, wait, what do you mean? Don't do what? He's like, don't you ask such a stupid question in front of a customer. You make my store look bad. I'm like, hold the fuck on. This dude was trying to find a specialized bit for a drill that is not standard. Okay. So I didn't know the answer to this. Okay. And he was like, don't you dare. And I'm like, what? And I kind of got snippy back with him. I was just kind of done. He was always an asshole. I got really snippy back at him. And I was like, all right, dude. All right. I won't ask you any more questions. Okay. And I walk away. This dude takes a pair of fucking pliers. I swear to God, this actually happened. He took a pair of pliers that was still in like the plastic thing. He took it and he threw it at me. I was about 15 feet away and they went right past my head. He was that close to fucking hitting me with pliers. He was the owner of a store, a multi-millionaire. And so anyways, like I've had terrible jobs. And so the fact that I'm able to do video editing and do this is the most non-alienating work I could ever do. And so I really appreciate it. Any support you guys throw my way that financially keeps me alive, keeps me going, I really appreciate it. And I've had so many shitty jobs and I've done you know, it's definitely a privilege to do this. So I really appreciate it. But yeah, that's one interesting story of my work experience. So, okay, I'll go back to read chat. I think I saw someone ask like, what did you study? So I study in college currently. I'm a double major in political science and history. I'm a super senior, so I'm on my 5th year. So I'm just getting The reason why I'm getting a second degree is because a lot of master's programs at my university have been cut. My university is just falling apart. It's the state of Missouri has cut post high school education. I mean, like, I don't even know how it's pretty much a private university at this point. Like, there's hardly any funding for it. And so, yeah, so I'm a political science and history student. I was going to go to grad school for philosophy. They cut the philosophy department. I was like, okay, I'll go for sociology because sociology applies in a lot of theory. They cut sociology. Sociology can't do that. The only master's program that they have now is history at UMKC, pretty much, that I could do. They had a liberal studies master's, which would be really cool because it's very interdisciplinary. I would actually be able to incorporate a lot of what I do on here into that degree, but I can't do that now because they cut that as well. And I'm not going to go get a master's in history. So the plan is, guys, I got one more semester in the spring. I got to write. I don't know why this history department, super, super rigorous. I don't know why. It's a fucking city university. Fuck off. Anyways, I have to write like a fucking 50-page thesis before I graduate. So I'm working on that this spring. I don't know, like, you have to write a 50-page fucking thesis to graduate with an undergrad degree? Fuck off. Anyways, I'm doing it, but yeah, once I'm done with that in the spring, I'm doing this full time. I'm going to try to do this full time. I'm going to try to, I'm just going to dedicate my entire being into this to see where we're at, right? Obviously in the spring, I might not be into a position where I could financially completely support myself while doing this. And if I can't, then obviously I'll have to rethink some things. Go from there. But I think that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to go full time. And if I can go full time, I can do a lot more with this. Okay. Writing a 60-page thesis is really nice. Preps for grad school. Yeah, but I don't think I'm going to go to grad school, man. I would go to grad school, I think, if I could do something in continental philosophy, but I can't. I think the closest university is University of Arkansas. Again, I'm in the Midwest. America, in the United States, continental philosophy departments are a little, especially for grad programs, they're a little weird. They're there. You just have to go seek out. A lot of the times, philosophy today is very analytical because it's very marketable, right? It's preparing you for law school. It's preparing you for whatever business endeavor you're going to go under. We live in a very capitalist society. Continental philosophy is tossed to the side. Okay. Like 50 pages for an undergrad thesis is ridiculous, in my opinion. It's completely pathetic. But I'm actually writing about, it should be interesting what I'm writing about. I'm writing my thesis about political communication in taverns during the colonial era America. So the Boston, taverns were they were pretty much community centers at that point. And a lot of political communication that led up to the revolution, Boston Tea Party, happened in taverns. And there's a lot of really kind of interesting stuff. Again, I don't really give a fuck too much about this, but my history department's very specific about what I can study. I wanted to do intellectual history. So again, I consider myself a historian of ideas more than anything. Like, I'm not a philosopher. I'm not a theorist. I don't think, not yet. I don't practice philosophy. I don't theorize things very often, but I am interested in the history of those ideas. And so that's kind of what my channel is. So theoretically, I would like to study the history of ideas, but history departments don't like that. They don't like that whatsoever. And they're very specific about what you can study because master's programs, they can only let so many people in. And if they don't like your idea of what you want to study, they're not going to let you in. More fun stuff. It's terrible. I can't stand the education system. Victor says, too bad, man. You'd really enjoy grad school if it was good. But now with COVID and stuff, that and like COVID makes it harder. It's gotten even more it's gotten even more specific about what you can study now. And that's part of the reason why I think I'm just going to go full time with this is because one thing, I'd prefer to do this. I love what I do doing this. Like, this is, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think I learn more things doing this than I ever would at university. Maybe not. But I'm able, it's probably because I study political science and history though. And a lot of that's completely irrelevant to this, but I learn a shit ton by doing this. And so I'd be a forever student having a job like this, and that would be wonderful. But with master's programs in the United States right now, is they're not doing very good, right? So with schools constantly being defunded, with COVID COVID being the way that it is right now, the first things that get cut are grad programs, especially in the arts and sciences. So it's not good. It's pretty grim. I've talked a lot about this on Twitch as well. Philologist, yeah. Well, is philology even practiced anymore? I'm pretty sure that's what, like, Nietzsche was a professor of philology, but I don't even know if philology is even like really practiced. The best philosophers have contempt for professional philosophers and professors. Yeah, I think so. I think in a lot of in a lot of ways, like, well, obviously, if you're revolutionary and your politics, for sure, 100%. This is one of the biggest things with a lot of very explicit Marxists is they don't like academia, because professors who discover how terrible capitalism is, how clearly horrendously exploitative it is, they are still very eager to accept that book deal, to partake in capitalism anyways, and not to be a revolutionary icon. I think that's a little bit cynical. That's obviously with a very material approach to revolution. Yeah. So I think definitely being a yeah, I think if you were in academia, there's so many things. This is the thing, I think, where I kind of critique that idea, is that there are already so many things wrong with academia, even within a capitalist framework, right? So it's not necessarily that we should, like, not talk about things in a post-capitalist world, but that even within the framework that we live, there's so many fucking issues that education needs to completely address. That the idea that professors aren't revolutionaries and stuff like that is a little bit weird. I think the biggest problem is that they just don't talk about the horrendously dumb fucking apparatus that is education right now, and how ill-equipped it is to actually handle education as a whole. I think college is certainly better than high school and public school, but it's really not good in a lot of ways. It's very bureaucratic. Okay, I got a question for you. I really like reading classical theory and philosophy, but how do you feel about Stoicism? That's a good question. If it's not theory as such, so, like, Stoicism is something very personal and individual. Sure, if it's your coping mechanism, but obviously the thing is, like, I think this is the clear problem with Stoicism, and a lot of problem that people have with it. Nietzsche talked about this as well, is that it's just like it's kind of a way to lay down, right? It's kind of weak, if you ask me. And I don't mean weak in a fucking macho sense. I just mean weak in the sense that you're not channeling that alienation. You're not channeling that I want to say societal trauma in a productive way, right? So we need to theoretically, right? Like, if your whole philosophy is just to be like, oh, well, I have, like the Stoic philosophy itself, it's just kind of meaningless, if you ask me. It's very nihilistic. Okay. Should really think about applying to universities abroad. You can still find programs at all. So, I again, I gotta think about this smart. I would like to do those things, but, like, I have a home here, right? I have a girlfriend. I live with my brother. My family's in Kansas City. My family is not rich. I'm not a prodigy intellectual child. I'm not any of these things. Like, again, I am, like, blue collar as blue collar gets in a lot of ways. And so stuff like that is very hard. I don't even know where to start. I wouldn't be able to get help from family. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, what's going on, Clamar? Yeah, it's kind of weird. Special Agent Dale Cooper. I recognize that name from Patreon. How's it going, buddy? Thank you for the support. Stoicism has been used by establishment to keep. I think so. Yeah. And that's like this new, I made a video about Zizek talking about new Western Buddhism. And that's kind of what like Buddhism is. It's like this new Western capitalist Buddhist idea. It's kind of just Stoicism. It's like channel your alienation elsewhere. It's like, it sucks. I don't like Stoicism for that reason. I'm very much opposed to that. The province of Ontario in Canada has mostly put all universities online at this point. Look into attending a great. Can I do that in the States? Again, like this might, again, truly, I think my life would be more fruitful if I could do this full time. So we're going to try that. But if I can't do that, obviously, yeah, I think I'll go back to school or, you know, we'll figure something out, but yeah. So yeah. This is really this is a very good stream, guys. I hope you guys like. This is awesome. We got like 58 people in here, 60. On Twitch, I'd get like 5 or 6 people. So it's awesome being able to talk to you guys. This is really cool. Are any of you guys opposed to games at all? Like, I know a lot of people in here like watching me play games. I assume most of you guys wouldn't mind at all, but obviously if we can talk theory and philosophy. I just, for example, Cyberpunk's coming out really soon, and guys, I'm telling you, I'm a huge gamer. Again, I don't play video games very much anymore. I don't have the time. But now that I'm getting close to break, and I'm finishing up a lot of my assignments, I'm going to stream the fuck out of Cyberpunk. So, okay. Really dig this. Thanks for doing this. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. You can, but you can't get a TA ship remotely because, yeah, to get paid. That makes sense. Okay. Do a Metal Gear Solid 2 playthrough? That would be great because that came on GOG not too long ago. I'm a big fan of Metal Gear Solid, actually. Okay, thoughts on Chomsky, Wolf, and other popular left figures? If you've already answered that, no, not a problem, man. I like Noam Chomsky a lot. I think, I closely align myself with a Chomsky-ish approach to socialism. I do. Like I know he's an anarcho-syndicalist or whatever, although his idea of anarchism is so much different. He has a more academic approach to anarchism. Anarchism isn't like the absence of government. Technically, that's how some people use it, and that's fine. Sure, use it in that regard. But the way he uses anarchism is something that's very critical of authority, and that authority should always be in check no matter what. And it's mind-blowing that that people disagree with that, but, you know... I agree with his approach to socialism. Also, as a theory person into philosophy, I agree with his ideas about some theory. I agree with his critiques of Zizek and being way too fucking complex for most people. He kind of thinks theory in some ways is a big circle jerk of ideas and intellectual posturing, and I agree in a lot of ways. Although I do think that's overstated. He says that theory in some ways is kind of worthless. That's bullshit. Fuck you, Chomsky, for that. I love you, but that's not true at all. But I do agree with his ideas that theory is often way too overly complex for no good reason. So I like Chomsky a lot. I'm gonna watch the fuck out of you streaming the fuck out of Cyberpunk. Hell yes, dude. Let's do it. I'm so pumped, guys. Like, Cyberpunk comes out. Faraday speaks. Oh, hey, I'm holding out for Cyberpunk for now. It's endless matches of Warzone. Hell yeah. Caleb, right? Faraday speaks. If you guys don't know, I've seen a couple videos with you, dude. I watched your thing with the Majority Report with Sam Cedar. I appreciate what you do, dude. It's kind of an honor to have you in here. It's really cool seeing you in here, dude. So if you guys are unfamiliar with Faraday Speaks, I believe he does a lot of research work into the pipeline to, honestly, I would say fascism or far-right ideology. And Caleb, I believe, or Faraday Speaks was, I believe he was kind of in that camp at one point from the internet pipeline thing. So cool to have you in here, man. It actually means a lot that you actually, that you actually like the channel. That's cool. It's really cool. I'm honored. Okay. Anarchism is the absence of hierarchy. Right. Not necessarily a participatory. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think that's the thing is like, and there's an essential element of Marxism in that, right? Like, I think like the absence of class is sort of that approach. I've loved your stuff on postmodernism. Thank you. I genuinely appreciate that. That means a ton, man. It means a ton coming from you. Okay. Books and tea. I agree, but as someone in the program, the reverse is very common sense, smart, not persistent enough. Is Zizek the most important contemporary philosopher? I think so, probably. My liberal friends all know and like him. Is this just because of his image or because of something deeper? I think so. I think as far as idea, okay. So I actually think as far as like contemporary theory, I think Mark Fisher's my favorite. I think Mark Fisher in the past 20 years has done more in like analyzing capitalism in a critical theory lens that is just so good. And but Zizek is really close too. I like Zizek in the sense where he merges like an Althusserian idea of ideology and Lacanian psychoanalysis. Obviously, Zizek is really important in that regard. I think Zizek is a little bit of a return to Hegel. Obviously, critical theory is a return to Hegel, but Zizek definitely is very much Hegelian, and he puts more emphasis on the dialectical modes of thinking, and I like that a lot. So I think Zizek is important. But to answer your question, to most people, I don't think most people understand Zizek's theory. Like most people who are into practical politics, they just like Zizek because he's a lefty, or he's an interesting lefty. I don't actually think they understand their theory, which I understand because Zizek is like a celebrity character, right? Like he's fucking hilarious. And so I think people appreciate his weird film analysis, but I don't think a lot of people actually understand a lot of what he's talking about. And I don't blame them. You know what I mean? A lot of what he talks about, again, to go to Chomsky, it's way too complex in some ways, you know? That's going to be a sad day when Zizek's gone, Jensen. That's going to be really sad. I think about that sometimes. Dude, yeah, who's going to fill that void and what's going to happen next? Right. We had David Graeber, and then David Graeber passed away, dude. It's like, it sucks, man. Zizek is just such a character that I feel like Zizek is one of those people where it is just a monumental loss of human life. Like Zizek is so human in the same sense that I think Nietzsche is superhuman in that way. Zizek's all over the fucking place. Nietzsche is all over the place, and that's what makes him really cool to learn about. Like there's so many different forms of his thinking that in some ways contradict one another. In some ways, Zizek does that just in different ways, I suppose. Have you read / listened to David Harvey? I actually haven't. I need to. Everyone talks about David Harvey. I need to do that. When I have some cash, I'd love to send some your way about whether you think there is a continental analytic divide and what I think they're farther apart. I appreciate that though. Any support's always nice, but do not, and this goes for anyone. Do not, guys. Obviously, don't kill yourselves. Any support's wonderful, but do not kill yourselves. Just be a fan of the channel if you can. We're in rough times right now, so okay. Yeah, Zizek is a force of nature, prolific. He is, man. Just started studying philosophy at uni. Your videos are very helpful. Thanks. Absolutely. Thank you, David. Zizek, I saw that and my ADHD, well, not ADHD brain. I've been kind of busy lately. I listened to like 5 minutes of it. Is Joe Rogan based? Fuck no. I don't mind Joe Rogan. I just think Joe Rogan in a lot of ways is so there's like I don't like hey I'm not like fuck Joe Rogan or anything. I just don't think Joe Rogan's very like Joe Rogan is Joe Rogan's a lot like my dad. Where like I see similarities in some ways. They're very different people, like personality wise, very different. But like I see this like Joe Rogan is like my dad and him are roughly the same age, and I noticed there's some similarities with how they approach their work. So like Joe Rogan, dude, he isn't going to grill anybody. He won't grill anyone that's been on a show. He's not going to potentially become halfway antagonistic to really bad ideas or really harmful ideas because he's got a podcast to run. Again, this goes to this capitalist realism, that this framework, this understanding of business ontology just never leaves them. And my dad's the same way. Like my dad is a progressive. He was a Bernie supporter, but like there's just some things where like when it comes to economics, my dad will not sacrifice that. There's nothing there. There's like the framework of capitalism is so deeply embedded. I find that with Rogan. I find with Rogan that, dude, like, you'll have fucking people like Ben Shapiro, and he's just like, yeah, sometimes I disagree with Ben with a lot of things, but he won't like if he's ever hostile towards someone, it's not really hostility. It's like this passive aggressive sort of thing. I don't like that at all. I think that it's confusing to a lot of people. And I think that Rogan has such a huge platform that, of course, Rogan can be Rogan. He can be as nice to people, and I agree with that. I do agree with kindness. Maybe I'm a dirty liberal in that regard, where I do think discourse to many extents is super important. Fucking Epoch philosophy, lib alert. Anyways, yeah, cut my head off. Fuck you. I think Joe Rogan, though, I wish he was a little bit more critical about that stuff, and I wish he was more open in some ways. He's very ambiguous about a lot of things, and his base of people are just like suburban dude bros. Like, that's like, obviously it's way overgeneralizing it, but he's got a lot of those people, and a lot of these people, it's a huge base of people that could become I don't know. I wish he was a little bit more responsible with his stream. Maybe that's me, but it's a dipstick of a contemporary dude, a little bit, yeah. Cool dad you got there. Yeah, oh god, guys, I might have to save this for later. I could give you guys stories about my dad. I don't want to, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm to the point where enough people watch this channel. I don't want to trash my dad. My dad's not a bad guy, though. My dad's not a bad guy whatsoever. My dad is a very fuck it. I'll explain my childhood. This is interesting to some people. My dad is an old, like, when I say, guys, I grew up blue collar, I didn't realize how like, my dad is the old school blue collar dude. So my grandpa was a union railroad worker. My dad grew up where we grew up was a suburban rural area. Where my dad grew up, it was rural at the time. And it's just, the community that I grew up in was just, it's poor, or it's very blue collar, and it's working class, like hardcore working class. Where I live right now, it's like, it's working class, but it's a different kind of working class. It's a little bit like, it's a little bit more bougie, if you will. And my dad, so like, me and my dad had a lot of problems growing up. And I had I think from a young age, again, I was very much like anti-authority. Like, that was something that, and my dad was kind of an authoritarian father in a lot of ways. And I don't want to go into too much detail. I think there's some mental health issues in my family. There is. A bunch of my family members are on antidepressants. Oh, Jesus.
The channel, guys.
David, thank you so much. David, you're always so, thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. David, you are sending me, I appreciate that. David is the man. I really do. That it warms my heart. But with my dad, like, okay, how am I going to approach this? My dad's not a bad guy. I hope I'm not being. It's just that, like, the typical authoritarian dad that was really, I couldn't do, like, as a kid, he was constantly breathing down my neck with a lot of things. I played basketball, and holy fuck, if my life wasn't centered, I didn't have a lot of freedom as a kid, and I lashed out a lot. Yeah, thank you. Thank you again, David. And me and him had issues from that. My dad was the quintessential classic father figure, and but I think as time has gone on, I think my dad kind of understands that. But we were talking about mental health. Like, my entire family's on like antidepressants. I'm on antidepressants, so I'm not a depressed person. I've never been depressed. I want to say I don't have it anymore. I had extremely bad anxiety, like I had panic disorder. I would like get panic attacks randomly, guys. I'm telling you, I would be in the greatest mood. I would start freaking the fuck out. I thought I was sick. It would make me nauseous. I would get physically ill randomly at any moment. And I think my family, there's some mental health issues that are very deeply embedded in my family, and my dad recently got on antidepressants. I think my grandpa is really bad. My grandpa is hardcore bipolar. I don't know. Obviously this is very personal stuff. I'm an open book though. I'm an open book. I don't know if this is like not my place to talk about this. I'm an open book. My dad, I think, has probably some weird anxiety. My dad would get very finicky about little things. And he's been a lot better since he's been on antidepressants. And so have I. Antidepressants are the shit. If any of you guys struggle with anxiety or depression, I can't speak for depression. I've been depressed through times of sadness in my life, but I've never really I've never been depressed. So I can't speak for that. I've been very I've had very bad anxiety issues though, where not just anxiety, it was bad. It was bad. And so I couldn't, there was a week where I couldn't even leave, I couldn't even leave my apartment at all. That is long gone and over since I started SSRIs. It kind of just saved me in a way. I tried everything. I tried eating better, exercising more. I remember on Reddit, people, I would always go on the internet what the fuck is wrong with me? And people are like, dude, if you haven't tried this, go to the doctor, go get SSRIs and try it. I'm like, and I was so scared of getting on meds, right? We have such a stigma against that stuff. Coming from the realm of Lobster Daddy. Oh yeah, fuck Jordan Peterson. But no, I know it's, I know I think he has a little bit of a similar deal. And, I decided to try SSRIs, and guys, I shit you not, this is not normal at all. I don't think this is placebo. The minute I started taking them, it doesn't usually work like this. It usually takes a good week or two before people start noticing it. I think I had very severe anxiety though. I noticed instantly the minute I started taking SSRIs. The day after I took it, before I went to bed, there was something very slightly different, and I was like it was just weird. And then it kept getting more significant as time goes on. I have not had a panic attack since I have took sertraline at all. Not one panic attack ever. And I would get panic attacks like no other. I'd have to leave class. I would be in the middle of a classroom and nothing was wrong at all. I would just be sitting there and I'd start shaking. I felt sick. I felt physically ill. I was like, I need to leave. And I would just leave class. It was bad. It was really bad. That happened a lot. Potential content warning. Would you go back to an anxiety riddle? No, I would never. Have you changed your productivity before and after taking medication? I'm just able to, I was disabled. I couldn't do anything with the amount of anxiety that I had. I couldn't do anything. I was truly it was beyond the pale of, I couldn't do anything at all. It was just, my life was disastrous. I couldn't eat. I was scared all the time. I went to the hospital twice because I thought I was sick. When you're that mentally ill, you get very physical reactions. I would never go back ever. It was the worst thing I've ever gone through in my life. And this only happened, dude, guys, mind you guys, I never really had panic attacks when I was younger. This happened in my early 20s. My brother had anxiety. He had social anxiety. It was a lot different. He would of course get panic attacks, but my brother, when he was growing up, talked about it a lot, and I had no understanding of it. I was like, anxiety, you're just nervous. And I hit my early 20s, guys, and I felt it. And it was the worst thing I've ever gone through in my life. Hardest thing I've ever done. I can't believe it's actually, when I put you don't think about it a lot anymore, but when I go back to it, I can't believe I fucking wow. Yeah. I used to weigh, guys, I think at the peak of my anxiety, I'm a 6'2" frame. I'm tall. I'm 6'2". I was 160 pounds, 165 pounds. I'm 215 now, to put that into context. It was just not good. I'm super neurotic, but I've noticed I can't get work done unless I've had the creep of it. That's interesting. So maybe I noticed there's some really broad ideas about what anxiety is. My girlfriend has anxiety, but her anxiety is very different than me. My anxiety was detrimental. So maybe that anxiety that you're talking about might be a little bit different. I think capitalism makes humans suffer. Absolutely it does. And it absolutely exacerbates it for sure. 100%. Shit, dude, sounds rough. Glad you're making it over that hump. Thank you, Victor. Yeah, no, I'm great. So I say this, guys, because if any of you guys have ever felt this, dude, do not be scared to take medication. Do not. It fucking changed my entire fucking life, dude. Completely. All right. Do you think Mark Fisher resonate? Oh, fuck, dude. Yes. That's why, man, I'm not going to lie. Mark Fisher. Well, if you kill yourself in any capacity, you're probably very mentally ill. Obviously, I think he's correct in saying that the external world that we live in, it exacerbates that mental illness. And for many people, it is that cause. Mark Fisher was probably a very deeply emotional person, far more emotional than me. I'll be real, guys. My anxiety, my mental health problems were not really purely capitalist related per se. I think it exacerbated it a lot. I started getting really bad panic attacks when I moved out of my parents' house, when I first had my place of my own. So maybe in that regard, yeah, finances were rough. So yeah, I got to get going, but thanks for the stream. Thank you guys. And thank you guys for all being in here. This is 58 people in here, guys. This is really cool. 58 people. That is, guys, I'm telling you, like, that's super cool. There was only like 5 or 6 people on my Twitch stream. It's so cool being able to interact with all you guys. Really, genuinely is. Yeah, but thank you, BB, for being in here. I will see you next time. Sorry, just tuned in. Love your stuff. I do wonder on the Peterson topic. I was mad at moved on, and I do wonder why he seems such a sensitive what's up, Silverline? Thank you. So Jordan Peterson. Oh fuck. All right, guys, I have a confession to make too. I think everyone does this. When Jordan Peterson was first popular, when he first got, I went through like a 3-month span of being pretty into Jordan Peterson, quite a bit. And then like after that 3 months, I was like, okay, wait, this dude's pretty fucking reactionary. Once he started getting way bigger, very, very reactionary, and obviously wrong about everything he talks about in regards to Marxism, postmodernism, stuff like that. I mean, the dude has no fucking idea what he's talking about. Like, it's so fucking goddamn clear. He read the Communist Manifesto a night before debating Zizek. Like, it's the most. This dude is a fucking con man beyond belief. But Silverline. So, it's a sensitive topic. I think because there has been no contemporary intellectual figure who has been so wrong on things, in my opinion. It has such a huge base. Like, I can't fathom, like, I can't express into terms, like, he does not understand anything that he's critical about. Like, you know how, like, people will say, like, oh, you just don't understand Marxism. Like, they'll say that to other centrist and liberals. And that's a cop-out to a lot of people, right? Saying you don't understand something is a very big cop-out. So I recognize that. But with Peterson, like, he hasn't read any of it. Like, I think he's kind of admitted it. He's kind of fucking admitted that. And his idea for not reading Marxism is that it's poison. Like what? He says, guys, it's poison to read this, so don't read it. What the fuck? Then how are you going to be critical about it? Even under his whole marketplace of ideas approach, he contradicts himself, like, beyond comprehension. Like, Jordan Peterson is a fucking con beyond comprehension in that regard. So, I fell for, yeah, same, postmodern. Yeah, I kind of did too, until I started learning about it. Really within that span of time, I was like, okay, well, this is bullshit. This is so fucking dumb. But yeah, he's insanely wrong about everything. Like the idea postmodern Marxism doesn't fucking exist. Like they're almost in some ways antithetical, I think. Now, I have a little bit of a different approach. I think postmodernism can help Marxism out more than what we think in today's world. But as an actual theoretical terrain, they're completely different. Completely different. I think it would be wise for us today, and this is a good topic. I won't get into this because this is a lot. Let's talk about this in another stream or another video. I think trying to kind of find common ground and merge those terrains together, postmodernism and Marxism, is very important today. Very important, but we can talk on that later. Mad shit about Derrida. Yeah, and he doesn't like, and the idea again. You know, Victor's in here as well, and on the Pill Pod, they've talked a lot about this. The postmodern thinkers like Foucault and Derrida, they weren't like antithetical to like objective truth per se. Like, they understood that there was scientific objective reasoning in a way, but that the way in which we use the idea of the Enlightenment idea of truth, of objective truth, of even scientific analysis, including Marxism, is wrong in a lot of ways. Like, and a lot of Derridian analysis is on the basis of language and stuff. I gotta head out. Glad you switched to YouTube streaming. Better access to your audience. I agree, man. This has been really great. Thank you for hanging out, Victor. Peterson is a delusion fascist. That's an interesting idea. I'm kind of, I wonder where Deleuze goes into that. But yeah, I mean, Jordan Peterson is a, oh yeah, there's a lot of things that are very in a weird way reactionary and sort of fascist in a way. What's really weird, and this is the stupid thing, he shits on, oh my god, this is the worst thing about Jordan Peterson, if you ask me. How many times does this motherfucker quote Nietzsche? Like, what the fuck? He loves Nietzsche. Nietzsche was like the first postmodernist. What the fuck? Like, you can't even put this into, like, I can't even like think about this shit. How are you going to like herald Nietzsche and then you bitch about postmodernists 24/7? What the fuck? Like I can't even, I can't comprehend this. I can't. Yeah. My bad if people have heard too much about him, but I've been meaning to ask this stuff. Oh yeah, and sorry, Silverline, if my analysis is a little bit too abstract and maybe you still have that sliver of love for Peterson, I hope not to offend you. I just think Peterson is fucking horrendous. Has his house full of Soviet art. I know. To remind him of the horrors. It's the most fucking stupid shit ever. And there was all kinds of terrible things in the Soviet Union. I'm not one of those fucking people. Dude, if you're fucking, oh my god. And then we're getting to other shit too. Oh my god. And if you're a fucking Marxist who isn't critical about the Soviet Union, go fuck yourself. Like, honestly, I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, Soviet Union, obviously there was all kinds of fucking horrid Western propaganda about the Soviet Union that was completely untrue. But oh my fucking god, the Soviet Union was terrible in so many ways as well. Like, fuck me, man. Like, but yeah, the idea that he's gonna have fucking socialist realism art in his fucking house, and yeah. He should read The Antichrist. Yeah. No, it's all good. All right, cool. I have a house full of things made in a capitalist society to remind me of the horrors. Exactly. Fucking, I know, dude. How can we get Americans to have confidence in hell and scientific authorities again? In hell. That's a great question, Mark. We have entered a post-truth age, 150%, whether we like it or not. I think this is where Marxism comes into play, where I say, I don't want to get into, this is such a good topic. I want to organize my thoughts better. I want to present this into another stream better. We can talk about this, but that is one of the things, is that we are truly living in a new terrain of postmodernism today, where facts, data do not really apply in the same way that they would have before. Matt McManus obviously has written about this with postmodern conservatism, stuff like that, but that goes across the entire plane. And I think the reason Democrats suck at politics in a lot of ways so bad is they don't have a more postmodern approach to things. Okay. Foucault the terrible and Derrida the trickster. Yeah. It's stupid. It's the most dumb fucking shit ever. Clean up your room. I have to take some benzos. Yeah, like... and I think that's the thing. Yeah, Peterson's fucking. We can't shit on a man for having mental health issues. That's tragic in so many ways. But yeah, the dude is pretty fucking crazy. I don't know if that necessarily, mental health is separate. I don't know if that affects his ideas. I can't say, but. Yeah. He's definitely very self-helpy. Manage your life and do this, and yet his life is in shambles. Again, everyone, I try not to be critical on that front as much, but yeah, I mean, there is some kind of irony in that as well. Isn't, yeah, in his self-help shit, this is the thing, all capitalist self-help is just practical bullshit. I know a lot of people, I've seen some people who are pretty sympathetic to, who are really lenient, like lefties who were lenient to Jordan Peterson. They're like, well, he does self-help stuff and that might be good. No, like I don't, his self-help stuff is bad too. Like it's not good at all. I don't think any self-help in this context is ever helpful in a very robotic and capitalistic, monetary driven world at all. It's almost never meant to be helpful, if you ask me either. It's meant to be pretty vapid and ambiguous. It sells, man. Could you call yourself a postmodernist? So that's a good question. I'm not big on labels, but I think in some ways I have postmodern elements in the sense that I recognize that we live in a postmodern world and that we got to be careful about how we combat that, because it's not good. Postmodernism in so many ways, it is in our innate being to combat this weird postmodern world that we live in, like maybe subconsciously. Like I think in so many ways god damn, man, humans want liberalism. Like people want, I think we underestimate how often like there is this crying out for a non-postmodern, meaningless, nihilistic world that we are living in that is hyper idealist, that is, I wouldn't call myself a postmodernist in that vein. I would call myself postmodernist in the sense that like I'm very critical of ideas of objective truth and grand narratives, maybe in that regard. So maybe, and Jordan Peterson's tonality, I'm a postmodern neo-Marxist. I actually do think, and it's funny, he's obviously wrong on this because postmodern Marxists don't exist. They don't exist in this world, but I do think that there are things that Marxists really should take from postmodernism that would greatly help their fucking agenda. But again, I feel like a lot of Marxists are way too religious with it. It's and it's a moral, people are miserable. People who recognize that capitalism is a horrid fucking system, they're even more miserable. And so there is this moral clinging, there is this moral connection to Marxism that makes you feel good by definition, where just in the essence of being a Marxist, you're more moral than the next man if they're not a Marxist. Doesn't matter how moral they are, it doesn't matter how giving, the fact that they are an ideological Marxist makes them better than them because they at least reject the very sociological confines in which we live. And I think that kind of reasoning is fucking horseshit, and I think it is fucking bullshit. Just because you are a communist, a Marxist, does not make you a fucking good person at all. Some of the worst fucking people I know are Marxist and communist. Again, like I'm just saying, I saw two memes. The meme where the Soviet soldier with the AK is like, great, haha, now go face the wall. I saw the same meme and it said critical theorists get the wall first, postmodernists get the wall first. You're gonna tell me that you got a hard on for violence that much and you're gonna claim moral superiority? Go absolutely fuck yourself, you fuck. I hate it. And it's like you're gonna tear down and you're gonna scare so many people away from a very good way of looking at politics and the world, right? I can't imagine anything more alienating to Marxism than that. Okay. Obviously it's crap still. The benzo okay, his book is literally a postmodern text. I wouldn't doubt that, Justin, at all. All people think they are good people in regard. No, I actually don't think so. I'm a little bit more cynical in that regard. I think people know, I mean, this is like mental health things. A lot of people know they're terrible people and it's hard on them. They cling on to the idea that they're not terrible people, but I think a lot of people know that they're not. A lot of the people who say that kind of shit, I think they know that they're kind of shitty people. I've thoughts on Nick Land. I'm not too so like I know about the accelerationist viewpoints, but I'm not into his theory. I haven't read much on him. I would love to do stuff on him though. I need to learn. Why did Plato leave the cave? I have no fucking idea. It's just fascists who prefer the Soviet Marxist aesthetic. All right, guys. So I think we're hitting an hour on this. So I want to present. I think I want to do this at every end of the stream. This is really cool. We could do more of this. I wanted to give an option. Is there anything in particular? I want to do this at every stream. If anyone wants to do a super chat option, a super chat question, we'll open that up. Anyone who wants to know anything, I know that a lot of people ask questions with super chat, or you guys could donate down below. I keep more of it. I have the fucking link on Stream Elements. You could always donate through there. I believe through Stream Elements you can actually type out the question itself and it'll play on stream. So if anyone wants to support, I think I only require like $3. Do not go ham if you do not want to. But if anyone wants any specific super chat questions that I'll go into detail, feel free. Because I think other than that, gonna wrap this up. We've been doing this for how long? How long is it? Oh, an hour 15 minutes. Okay, this has been cool. But obviously in the future we will do we will do. I definitely want to do more gaming streams. Also, guys, it's another thing. Another thing that I really want to do is so. Also, gotta say, anyone who's into PC hardware, they're gonna know how fucking how bad and crazy this is. All right, contain yourself. I just bought an RTX 3090, so I have a 3090 in my fucking computer right now. The reason I do have that actually has not very much to do with gaming, although it's wonderful. Like, I can play games at a way better aesthetic. Faraday speaks. My Twitter is at Epoch Philosophy. So you just at Epoch Philosophy on Twitter. That is it. It should also be in the description as well. But yeah, I got a 3090 and I got this for video editing. There's so on the graphics card, there is a codec of video formatting that you can download, and on Premiere it runs so much better. So I have the GPU for GPU acceleration and stuff like that too. But something that I can run better is Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I love flight sims, but my 1070 was starting to feel a little sluggish. So with the 3090, guys, I can crank up the graphics settings on Microsoft Flight Sim and we can do flights. I feel like that would be a good thing to do on stream as well, because I can talk to you guys much better, or I can communicate easier than playing like an actual game or something like that too. These people aren't Marxists. They just have their theological sadism for politics. That's yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways, I kind of feel the same thing. I hate the gatekeeping of what Marxism is, because half the time it's wrong or it's just super cynical. But yeah, in many ways, there's not a very dialectical approach in their thinking. So at all. So I completely agree. I have a lot of problems with how that that shit works. Thanks, man. Nice stream. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I don't know. This has been really fun, guys. This is really cool. Really, really cool. I typically on Twitch, it is way different, much more quiet. I like being able to interact with you guys. 3090 bourgeoisie confirmed. Yes, I know. Dirty bourgeoisie. But for what I do, dude, it's pretty fucking, like, video editing is hard on your computer, and being able to have something that, especially, I do a lot of the After Effects comps that I'll do, I use vector art, and vector art for some weird reason crashes my GPU. I don't know why. A lot of these effects are GPU accelerated, and so it eats up your VRAM and it'll crash your computer. I'll be able to do a lot more 3D stuff as well. What are your PC specs? Good question. I have an i7. My weakest part of my computer now is my processor, because it's only 8 core, 8 threads. So I have 32 gigabytes of RAM. Premiere and After Effects are very demanding on RAM. I have an i7 9700K, so an 8 core, 8 thread processor. It's the last Intel I'm going to buy. Fuck Intel. AMD looks like they're winning the race. Thank God. Intel's been powerful for way too long. I have a RTX 3090. I have a pretty decent motherboard. So good luck, see it. Thank you. I have 2 SSDs as well. I have I have one M.2 SSDs. They've gotten really cheap through the year, so I went ahead and got one. So I enjoyed this session. Awesome. So I don't know how much the latency is or how long it is, but if anyone, again, if there's any, like, I don't know, I should maybe have, I can't remember how, I try to be like, appreciate your work and effort, love from India. Thank you so much. So I think if this is it though, guys, I think I might head on out of here. This was just my first stream. We'll have longer streams in the future. Oh, Linux, hello. We're actually on the tail end of our stream right now, but yeah, I think in the future, I think we'll, what do you think about TTRPGs? Is that top-down RPGs? I can't. I love RPGs. I like new era RPGs, like Fallout New Vegas is one of my favorite. I'm not a big fan of like the classic RPGs that are top-down, like isometric RPGs. I'm a little bit of a zoomer in that regard. So, nice stream. Tabletop. I've never played tabletop RPGs ever. I never have. Never, ever, ever. So that is new to me. I know Dungeons and Dragons is a part of it. I hear a lot of people really like tabletop RPGs. I asked, stumbled upon it. Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate all you guys being in here genuinely, like genuinely do. Okay. All right. So yeah, guys, I think I'm going to head on out of here. Thank you again. Caleb, also another shout out to Faraday Speaks. Faraday Speaks does some cool stuff. He was on the Majority Report one time. I oddly saw him on there, and I thought it was really cool. So, all right, guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. It's been a lot of fun. We're going to do way more with this in the future. Way, way, way more. So, I'm excited to be on YouTube now. Holy shit, this has been a wonderful stream. And thank you. David, again, I don't know if you're still in here, dude. Thank you. This dude always supports me in Super Chat. I appreciate that so much. It helps out immensely. You are extremely kind. So I will see you guys.